I Hate the News is the weekly news bulletin from I Hate Politics podcast, a show about a human activity we love to hate. I'm Sunil Dasgupta. The week of June 25th, 2024, Maryland Governor Wes Moore pardoned 175,000 criminal marijuana convictions, but individual criminal record expungement is not automatic. Maryland Senator Jeff Waldstreicher talks about his 2023 bill to expunge individual records. The city of Baltimore sues soda giants for plastic pollution. Prince George's County opposes a Virginia Department of Transportation plan to turn the unused transit lanes on Wilson Bridge into express lanes. DC Public Service Commission turns down a $700 million plan for a new gas pipeline. And more. Stay with us.
I Hate Politics is brought to you by UMBC's Political Science Program. If your goal is to make a meaningful impact with a career in local, state, or federal government, discover what this degree can do for you. Learn more at shadygrove.umbc.edu.
I Hate Politics is a podcast about our neighborhoods, workplaces, schools and streets, and our local governments as they function in diverse and democratic societies. This means our politics are messy, dirty, sometimes corrupt, with often self-serving politicians. But no matter how much we may hate politics, we are never exempt from it, even when we refuse to participate. In fact, the purpose of politics is to keep society functioning precisely when we don't agree with each other, like now. Music for this episode comes from Silver Spring power pop band Airport 77s. Andy Sullivan on vocals and guitar, Chuck Dolan on bass, and John Kelly on drums. The songs come from their album, We Realize You Have Choice.
Couple of kids at the Ramada Inn, waiting for the lights to dim, looking for something gonna suck them in, or at least we'll pass the time. How are those kids supposed to know that this might be their last picture show? They got 90 minutes till the credits roll to remember every line.
Maryland Governor Wes Moore has pardoned tens of thousands of marijuana convictions now that the state has legalized cannabis. But not all individual criminal records will be expunged automatically. Maryland Senator Jeff Waldstreicher, who has had an expungement bill waiting in the wings since 2023, explains.
Under current law, cannabis possession offenses that are under the legal limit are automatically expungible. Cannabis offenses that are possession that are over the current legal limit can be appealed to the court for an expungement. Cannabis offenses that involve paraphernalia also require an application to the court for expungement.
Okay, so of the 100,000 people affected by the governor's pardon, how many of them will benefit from automatic expungement?
So I don't have that number, and I don't think the governor's office provided that number, but that law has already taken effect and took effect when the people of Maryland passed a referendum legalizing small amounts of recreational marijuana. And so while the pardon is really important for reasons of justice I described earlier, that automatic expungement has already occurred under current law.
Your bill only addresses those that have convictions that relate to a possession above a certain limit and paraphernalia.
And there's one other aspect that it will affect. Regardless of whether your offense was above or below the legal limit, if it is commingled with other offenses, you still have to make an application to a court for an expungement.
Okay, explain commingle in this context, please.
Let's say you steal a soda from a pool snack bar and the police catch you and they pat you down and they find what was then an illegal amount of marijuana. Now, your marijuana offense is commingled with the theft offense. The marijuana offense should be automatically expunged had it been alone, and it will be pardoned by the governor even though it's commingled with the theft offense. But under Maryland law, it cannot be expunged without an application for expungement because it is commingled with that theft offense. And so that is a huge proportion of people in this group of 100,000 people.
Do you know what is that number?
I don't, but we know from our discussions with the judiciary, who find commingled offenses to be difficult to deal with because they have to redact parts of police reports, that commingling is one of the most substantial obstacles to doing this work because it is extremely expensive and labor intensive.
Was it a fiscal note to your bill?
So the 2023 bill that transmutes pardons into expungements does not list a specific cost of the bill. Sometimes when cost is difficult to obtain, fiscal note writers use just narrative language to describe what the cost might be as opposed to attributing a specific dollar.
Why did the bill not move forward in 2023?
The bill didn't move forward in 2023 because the governor's office indicated that these pardons were not imminent because of legal issues that they had to work out.
No, but that would have been different in 2024. Did you reintroduce in 2024?
I did not. The decision I came to was let's let the governor's office, which has done incredible work. And so we wanted to make sure they dotted every I, crossed every T before we possibly return to this issue.
Jeff Waldstreicher, thank you.
Thank you, Sunil.
The city of Baltimore has filed a number of high-profile lawsuits belatedly. Most recently, the city solicitor sued major soda companies, Coca-Cola, Pepsi, and others for plastic pollution. The city has been cleaning up its waterways, and last weekend, about 150 people jumped into the water in Baltimore Harbor, something unimaginable even a few years ago. In Washington, D.C., the city's Public Service Commission has turned down a proposal for a new $700 million gas pipeline. In 2023, we did an episode on Maryland gas utilities, continuing to add billions in new pipeline and pumping infrastructure at a time when the state had set ambitious carbon emission targets. Investment by gas utilities in new infrastructure is paid off over time by consumers who use piped gas. Prince George's County Council member Eric Olson, the county's representative to the Metropolitan Washington Council of Governments Powerful Transportation Planning Board, opposed the Commonwealth of Virginia's proposal to repurpose unused transit lanes on Wilson Bridge across the Anacostia River as express toll lanes. Dawson's Market, which is closing its signature presence in Rockville Town Center, will not be leaving Rockville for good. It will become the operator of the cafeteria at the universities at Shady Grove. Here is owner Bart Yablonsky.
At University at Shady Grove, it's just a food service operation. So it'll be catering. We are looking into reopening the cafeteria as well. So we'll be doing our food service there. So similar to the hot bar, salad bar, but on a smaller scale, just as a smaller space. And then, the similar prepared foods that we make here in the Rockville location, some of those items will be available now at Shady Grove once the cafeteria reopens in the fall.
Do you think that, serving a student population, that pricing structure would work?
I believe students are definitely they're more vocal and very interested in supporting businesses that are independent. And they definitely are concerned about what they eat and the quality of the food that they eat. So I feel confident that will be a good, strong customer base for us.
The economics of all this must be hard because, your prices are up and, cost of ingredients are up. Are you getting a break on the use of the facility, or
there's a public RFP about it? It's based on the way that's structured it's percentage of sales is the way it works. And then, we're providing equipment, they're providing equipment. It's a partnership.
Your customer base is going to change dramatically, though. You're not going to get the foot traffic or, the high school people certainly are not going to,
Yes, it's very different. And that's why I said it's not a transition. We're not moving one store to the other. Unfortunately, the Rockville location is closing. This was a separate business, separate financial opportunity for us. So we're very excited for it. And we have a smaller team. Our kitchen staff team is going to go over there and run that operation. We have a great kitchen manager who'll be in charge over there for catering and for food service. So it's we're excited about the opportunity. But again, it's a smaller footprint.
What is the difference between your presence in the town center versus in university at the University of Cherry Grove? It'll look different, right?
Yeah, it's very different. I mean, the quality of the food and the commitment to local and our mission, that's all consistent and none of that's changing. But at University at Shady Grove, it's just a food service operation. So it'll be catering. We are looking into reopening the cafeteria as well. So we'll be doing our food service there. So similar to the hot bar, salad bar, but on a smaller scale, just as a smaller space. And then, the similar prepared foods that we make here in the Rockville location, some of those items will be available now at Shady Grove once the cafeteria reopens in the fall.
Are you looking to open a full service grocery store in Montgomery County again?
I mean, we have not really been successful in finding any locations at this point. So,
Bart Yablonsky, thank you.
Thank you. I appreciate your time.
The Montgomery County Animal Shelter and Adoption Center has reopened after an outbreak of canine flu that lasted 6 weeks. Maria Anselmo is a spokesperson for the shelter.
Has it only been 6 weeks? This feels like it's been an eternity for our entire lives almost. It's been a real journey. So we just reopened for adoptions on Tuesday the 18th. After being closed since I think May 2nd, which was quite the shutdown for us, with dogs really not leaving the building. And so we were really trying to not have dogs enter the building either. So canine influenza, this strain, very, very, very contagious. So our sort of like patient zero dog was a stray who came in without any sort of symptoms. So he, really nice dog. So we had moved him over to our adoption floor. And then all of a sudden he started showing, had this horrible cough and a snotty nose. And it just jumped from dog to dog to dog. And so it was shortly after that dog showed those symptoms that we did end up deciding to quarantine the whole shelter. Canine influenza has been in this area for probably the past year and a half, 2 years or something. And we've sort of been, I feel like, the last shelter to get it. So many other shelters got it last summer. And we just sort of been like hanging out, like just waiting for the ball to drop. It's not considered like a core vaccine for people to do on their pets. So it's not even a vaccine that we used to give to animals in the shelter. So it wasn't something we were doing regularly. And then everybody sold out of it about a year and a half ago as well.
Do you isolate new intake?
We do not unless we, see signs of, illness.
How long does a dog typically have the virus before they can kick it away?
One of the things with this strain of canine influenza is that they can shed the virus for 28 days after they show symptoms. And so before we cleared our adoption floor, we waited till each of our adoption floor kennels had essentially gone 28 days past the last dog from showing symptoms. So we had, 17 dogs in one of those kennel areas. And so when that 17th dog finally showed symptoms, that's when the actual clock started for those 28 days.
So the last 28 days has really been a holding pattern for you then?
Yes. Yeah. So yeah, it really has for that. We had one different area of the shelter, which is not on the adoption side of the building and has some significant separation, potentially have a dog with CIV. That's not confirmed. But we've gone ahead and isolated that area as well. So, we're not going to say that we are 100% out of the woods yet, but at least the dogs on our adoption floor, they've been through it. They've come out the other side. They no longer need the extreme isolation that they were sort of forced to go through. And we are happy to be able to be open for adoptions again and have people come in and meet these dogs who have really been through a lot.
Maria Anselmo, thank you.
Thank you.
Most of the 21-person crew of MV Dali, the container ship which struck and felled the Key Bridge in Baltimore, are finally set to depart the ship and maybe go back home to their home countries. The ship itself left the Baltimore harbor to go to Norfolk for repairs. Do you know 16-year-old Quincy Wilson from Bowie? He goes to Bullis School and ran an incredible 400 meters, a world record for under 18s at 44.59 seconds. He is going to Paris for the Olympics. That's all for this episode. Be sure to check out our feature interview series that comes out Friday mornings. I Hate Politics is produced by me, Sunil Dasgupta, and assistant producer, Adama Gay, with support from the University of Maryland, Baltimore County. I direct UMBC's political science program at the universities at Shady Grove in Montgomery County, where, among other things, we explore and learn about politics, government, and society close to home. Music for this episode comes from Silver Spring power pop band Airport 77s. Andy Sullivan on vocals and guitar, Chuck Dolan on bass, and John Kelly on drums. The songs come from their album, We Realize You Have Choice. If you want to share your music on the show or know someone else who might want to, please email us at producer@ihppod.org. See you next time.
There's a lot of things wrong this summer. A lot of things wrong this summer. It's true. I hate the books, I